I'm Tom, and let's talk about the boxing that took place in Times Square. For me, a bit of an, not necessarily an upset, but it was hyped up to be something incredible, and it just wasn't that. The pictures we saw being released about how it's going to look, what it's going to be like, the sort of photos of the atmosphere we're going to see, it didn't live up to that. It wasn't that, if we're honest about it, and I'm not too sure why. I guess something happened fairly last minute that sort of meant that they couldn't have it how they wanted it. But we were led to believe that there would be this kind of couple of rows of the VIPs, you know, your Mike Tysons and all the fighters that were there to watch. And then beyond that, beyond a sort of barrier, would be anyone that wants to watch. And people just walking through Times Square that didn't really follow boxing or know what was going on would have kind of front row tickets to be able to see huge fights. And it just wasn't that. It ended up being the kind of VIPs and then a 15-foot red fence, which kind of killed off a lot of the atmosphere. Watching it was a very weird experience. You could just see that there was the ring walks were done through like cars basically. And then, as I say, it felt very COVID-esque where there was just no one really able to watch what was meant to be a huge spectacle. And it was a huge spectacle, boxing in Times Square, but you know, it was meant to be packed full, people watching from all over, just walking by and able to watch top quality boxing, but ended up being not open to the public kind of at all. And it did make for a weird atmosphere to watch. And I think, you know, Ryan Garcia touched on that after his defeat, saying what the atmosphere was like and that it was weird, and you know, you could hear the conversations of people on the front rows and stuff like that. But, well, ultimately, right, you're a professional. You shouldn't need, and don't get me wrong, you know, a sold out Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is like what Ben Eubank fought in, is going to be incredible, but, and will hype the fighters up. But you shouldn't need, you're a professional, you shouldn't need that. You should be able to go in there and get the job done, whether it be sparring, whether it be in front of what we saw in Times Square or a sold out stadium. And I saw this stat and it was like the Garcia fight and the Haney fight combined was 233 punches. The first, across 24 rounds, the first 3 rounds of the Eubank Ben fight was 237 punches. And that goes to show one of the greatest fights I've ever seen between two high pressure, well, clearly high pressure boxers versus two people that box on the back foot and like to pretend they're something they're not. And I think that's the story of the 147 division. And that's why I said, if Conor Benn can get, I said it before, if Conor Benn can get down to 147, get down to 147, because that division's there for the taking. You got, you know, and American boxing's not in a great place. You got Garcia, you got Tank, and you got Haney, who are all overhyped, just like Jared Anderson was. You got Shakur Stevenson, who I really, really rate, but isn't fun to watch. He just isn't. I'm sorry, he just isn't. He's a fantastic boxer, but isn't exciting. And then you've got Ben Eubank doing that. It's not the same. And, you know, there's that saying where winners win, losers explain. And that's what it felt like from Ryan Garcia. I agree, the atmosphere wasn't great, but that still wasn't good enough. It just felt like he was very lackluster. Ryan Garcia was very lackluster and deserved to lose. And I said going into this fight, the thing is with Ryan Garcia, when he was on PEDs, he did what he did. He's not on that now, and I don't think he'll be able to perform as well. And he wasn't. And Devin Haney just looked like he was trying to get the job done. You know, I've never really rated Devin Haney since that Loma fight when I thought he lost and shouldn't have been given the win, but was given the win. I've never really rated him since then, and I've kind of been proved, I don't want to say right, because he's still good, right? But you can see why. He's just not that boxer, and it's a real shame. So I got hair in my eye there. And it's, you know, it's a real shame. Haircut. I'm getting one tomorrow, people. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. But yeah, it's a real shame to have had that event go how it goes. It was really boring. And of course, let's address the upset on the card. Ryan Garcia losing. Yeah, I mean, both him and, I mean, the Ryan Garcia fight was really bad, really bad. The Devin Haney fight was, I mean, the first fight of the night I thought would be the worst and it being the best. And it still wasn't great. It still wasn't great. And this is the problem. And, you know, you got Devin Haney who won his fight, but nothing to write home about. And then you got, again, Ryan Garcia who lost deservedly so. And you look at that, and I say, if I'm Ben, I'm going straight back down to 147, and I'm cleaning that division out. It's a real shame, because there should be some big names in that division, but they're just over. American boxing's in a really bad place at the moment. And look, we can all blame the event, because the event was strange, it was weird, it was definitely abstract and new, and teething issues maybe, or just not executed as well as it could have been. But whatever way you look at it, that wasn't good enough. And it was followed up yesterday by a card, the Canelo card, which also wasn't really good enough. People, that's my thoughts and everything. I'll probably do a couple more breakdowns throughout the week. Let me know your thoughts and everything in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. You know how all this stuff works, people. Peace.